Welcome back. How will Israel deal with growing international condemnation of its use of deadly force on an aid flotilla bound for Gaza? An ally until recently, Turkey now says its patience is running out. And the violence used by the Israeli military has also prompted soul-searching within Israel itself. I'm discussing the issues with Mitchell Barak, who heads Kivun, a research and political communications firm based in Israel. He has worked closely with the leadership there. And Arab-American writer and peace activist Ramzi Kassir, who works for the US arm of the Free Gaza movement. And Ramzi, I'll get back to you with that question Henry had before the break. Israel does this and gets away with it. And it ties into a question we had from our Facebook page from Sanmonu Sahid Oratunji, who says, even if Israel allows for an investigation of the flotilla incident, how will it be any different than the Goldstone report on the Gaza war, which Israel denied?
You know, there's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King that I like very much. He once said that the arc of history bends towards justice, and that any oppression that we see, we have to remember that all of these things can seem so terrible while we're in the middle of them, but they all have an end. They have a conclusion. And I think it's up to us as people of conscience, as people who understand what's going on and are concerned about it, to get involved, to take action, to raise our voices, even if it's only within our own communities, and to be part of that process of history, bending the world towards justice.
Mitchell Barak, if I can get back to you. Well, actually, before we do, let's get Karen from Germany who's on the line, and we'll put this to you as well. Karen, go ahead, in Germany.
I want to ask the Israeli gentleman if he doesn't feel any shame with all the international community focusing on this horrendous act in the sea, in international waters. Mitchell, I don't know how he can sit there and not feel any shame as a human being.
Mitchell, it's one issue is that this Israeli action was taken in international waters. That's sort of being raised, and that's something that our previous guest as well, Henry, raised. He's saying what's different from the Somali pirates, and our viewer, of course, here is saying that it's the international community now grouping up against Israel. Israel's, no matter what the arguments are that Israel says, it seems to be the world is lining up against Israel now.
It does seem that the world is lining up against Israel. When Israel took over the Karine A ship, if you remember, a number of years back, and found a large stockpile of weapons which was headed towards the Palestinian Authority, that was also in international waters. The point is like this: Israel will do whatever it takes to defend its citizens when they are either under attack or they're suspecting that weapons are coming in or that terrorists are going to be used against its citizens, even if that means things on the high sea or going into international waters. What happened, again, on that ship is unfortunate. The people on that one ship that was coming through were looking for a provocation, they were looking for a fight, they were looking to kill or injure a soldier, and the Israeli soldiers are the ones that came on there and tried. At that point, they had to defend themselves. I'm very proud of the Israeli army. This is the same Israeli army that was the first field hospital in the world in Haiti after the earthquake in Haiti. We had volunteers that were staying there for many, many weeks and saved many, many lives. This is not an army that looks for provocation. This is not an army that looks to kill innocent civilians. Israel has absolutely no problem with the Palestinian people. The problem is that the Palestinian people in Gaza have elected a terrorist organization, the Hamas, to lead it. And they've elected them to be in charge of their daily affairs.
Let me get in Martins, who's in Georgia in the USA.
Israel is trying to
Sorry, because we're short on time, I want to get as many viewer questions in because it's a chance for them to join in here. Martins is in Georgia in the USA and has been waiting patiently. Martins, go ahead.
Thanks for having me. I'm just sick and tired of listening to people like this, an Israeli representative, tell us all these stories about Haiti, about, being the first field hospital in Haiti. We don't care about that. What we care about is what continuously happens in Israel, how Israel treats its neighbor. Tell me, if this is not an act of terrorism, what is?
Mitchell, Martins, I'm going to get back to you and get to Mitchell in just a second.
Let me ask you, if there was...
Go ahead then, Martin.
What is his name? Martin, if rockets were fired into Georgia from Mexico, not one rocket, but 100 rockets, what would the United States do? Would they allow that to happen? Or would they blockade all of Mexico and go in with troops and make sure that no more rockets were being fired on Georgia? What do you think they would do?
I'm going to get to, listen, I wanted to get to Ramzi again here. One of the issues is that we've got now Turkey, which was an ally of Israel up to now, is now also losing its patience. What impact do you think this is going to have on Israel's sort of situation in the Middle East?
Yeah, you know, Mitchell said something that I found very interesting when he talked about how the Israeli military was there in Haiti. And it may well be that some of those soldiers were standing alongside humanitarian volunteers from IHH, from Turkey, who were also there in Haiti working to help people, and then months later are killing them aboard this ship for trying to do the same thing in Gaza. And you know, it's not a question of Israeli security here. It doesn't matter what the issues are. You cannot collectively punish human beings, and you should not politicize humanitarian aid and say that taking aid to people in Gaza who are suffering from a catastrophe, a man-made catastrophe, every bit as bad as the catastrophe in Haiti, that this is a criminal act or a terrorist act. I mean, how dare they say this?
Mitchell, let me ask you just how the mood in Israel is shaping up. Let me get your perspective.
Let me just respond, Ramzi. If Ramzi wants to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, bring the boats to the ports in Ashdod like the Israeli government suggested, and then it will be trucked to the Carney crossing point, and we'll get in.
The difficulty with this,
weapons, and as long as it's not being used against Israel.
A quick response.
But that was not the intention of these IHH volunteers. They're not volunteers. They're people that were looking for a provocation.
A quick response, Ramzi.
The difficulty with this is that it is precisely the official channels in Israel that are causing the humanitarian catastrophe. This is a man-made catastrophe caused by your policies. To say we should just submit to your policies ignores the entire reason we're doing this.
Mitchell, let me ask you how the people in Israel are on this, because there's been it seems there's been a bit of division among the Israeli people now as well on how this is going ahead, that this seems to be a lose-lose situation all round.
Well, it's not a good situation in Israel. There are a lot of Israelis. I think that most of the public is behind the army and behind the government. There are certainly a lot of people that are asking questions. Why exactly was this military option considered and chosen over other options? Could it have been done differently? Could it have been done to avoid more bloodshed? I think part of the problem is that Israel has done this in the past, and at each time there was no resistance, there was no violent resistance, and they assumed it would be the same way. But there definitely is a debate going on in Israel because Israel is a democracy, and the Israeli public, just like they wholeheartedly supported both with their tax money and with their opinions, a field hospital in Haiti at a cost of $12 or $15 million, which is a lot to the Israeli public.
Okay.
Human life is important to Israelis.
Let's do
humanitarian aid is important.
Yeah. Sorry, Mitchell, stop because I have 20 seconds. I just want to get 20 seconds. I just want to get Ramzi, do you think things are going to change? Are you guys going to try to go back into Gaza?
I am very hopeful that things will change. We will sail to Gaza again and again and again until this siege is ended and the people of Palestine have free access to the rest of the world.
Listen, unfortunately we're out of time. There are always so many more questions. Mitchell, I want to thank you for joining us. Sorry for those problems at the beginning, but we got you in there in the end. Ramzi, thank you as well. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can download a free podcast of our show from iTunes. We're featuring this week a discussion with the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister on the challenges the country faces 1 year after the end of a decades-long civil war. On the next show, she's the new image of American beauty and she's Arab. Miss USA, Rima Fakhi, talks candidly about the controversy surrounding her selection. Be sure to tune in for that from me and the team. We'll see you next time.